Open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991 for the fine art of dentistry.
Shopping for replacement windows in Fayette County? Metropolitan Window Company elevates your shopping experience.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, a family-owned and operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you'll experience personalized knowledge, expertise, and professionalism from our first visit to your home until our craftsmen complete your installation.
We're the window company that people want in their homes, and our exclusive Infinity by Marvin 100% fiberglass windows are the windows people love.
They're built for life. They are the strongest, longest-lasting windows you can buy.
We have a great selection of colors and finishes. We service the entire Fayette County area and will come to your home. Visit us at metropolitanwindows.com or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, October 9th, 2025, and you're listening to The Sports Voice. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a week to rest, coming off of a thrilling win that was a lot closer than it should have been in Dublin, Ireland, against the Minnesota Vikings. A few players who have missed time have started to heal. Will the Steelers come out looking like the AFC North champions that everyone has already anointed them as becoming at the end of the season? Now, when you look at that statement, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Are people pointing to this team as the best of the North because of their game, because of what they've done that has looked so impressive thus far this season? Or is it simply because Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are injured? Two quarterbacks on two teams that at the beginning of the season were head and shoulders above your Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people questioning the waiting period on Aaron Rodgers in the summer. Why don't we bring in somebody else? Why are we waiting months for this guy? Well, I think you're seeing it because when I look at this team and I look at as assembled what you thought you were going to see and then what you've seen in return, Aaron Rodgers is by far and away the only reason this team is 3-1. All close games, all coming down to the wire. You put someone inexperienced behind center, they could very easily be 1-3. Just look back at the games thus far. Can Rodgers take this team somewhere that they've not been in 8 years? Well, that remains to be seen. That basically would be the playoffs with a win in the first round. I heard a lot of people say, well, they could beat Houston. Did you watch Houston last week? I know it's against Baltimore with 8 starters out on defense, but looking at the offense and what they were able to manipulate off of that Raven defense, Houston might be a little better than everyone thinks. There are other teams that might be a little better. Maybe Denver is a little better than what everyone thought, coming from behind and knocking off Philadelphia. The Chargers, it's been up and down. I still think they're one of the better teams in the AFC, and I know a lot of people are talking about Kansas City and how down they are, especially after the disappointment at the end of the game to Jacksonville. But let's not forget their number one receiver, Rashee Rice, hasn't played yet, and it's only a couple of weeks until he does. Give Patrick Mahomes another weapon or two, you could see a much different outlook for the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't ever count them out until they're officially out. And now the talk is Pittsburgh Steelers are in the market for a number 2 wide receiver. I've seen Jaylen Waddle's name all over the place because with Tyreek Hill out, everyone just assumes the Miami Dolphins are finished. And that may be true, and Jaylen Waddle may be traded, but what is the likelihood that he's traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is he 35 years old? Does he play defense? Because if he's not either of those two things, I can't imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers eagerly anticipating making a trade offer for Waddle. Because at some point they're going to have to pay him, and they're already paying DK Metcalf. How many guys on offense can you afford to pay when you're spending millions and millions of dollars on your overpriced, over-the-hill defense? So it's a pipe dream. We've heard it for the last several years. Numerous names were mentioned of receivers that would make sense coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially with Aaron Rodgers, who you know you only have for this year. Wouldn't you try to put it all in right now? But as we've learned, as of recent time, it just doesn't happen. But at least we could talk about a game this week. The Cleveland Browns starting 5 rookies on offense could be maybe the beginning of something big for Cleveland. I don't think you're going to see it against the Steelers, but to give that opportunity to several different players, maybe Cleveland finally starting to turn that corner. But of those 5, just remember, there's no one named Shador who's going to be starting for the Cleveland Browns. The Pittsburgh Penguins, 3-0 winners over the New York Rangers. A couple of things that I really enjoyed. Number one, I enjoyed the 2 rookies making the team. I know they're only going to be there for 9 games. I'll hope that maybe somehow they're there longer, but to put them out on the first line to start the game with Crosby and Malkin and Letang, I thought was very classy by head coach Dan Muse, who, by the way, I'm very, very concerned with now. I thought he would be good. I didn't think he would necessarily be this good, but based on what everyone's saying as far as how he ran camp, what we saw in that first game, very basic win. Didn't see a lot of basic wins with Mike Sullivan. It was all flash and a lot of times just no pan that went with it. This was what they needed. You put 3 guys that are 6'5" or taller on the same line. A guy that I bashed relentlessly, Justin Brazeau, with 2 goals. If he does that, I'll stop bashing him. I assure you. I stopped bashing Kindle once he figured it out, and he was not good. I didn't think coming into the draft and at the beginning of camp, he got really good midway through camp, and he deserves to be on that team as well. But I loved more than anything watching Mike Sullivan trying to do all the same stuff we had to watch in Pittsburgh for the last 3 or 4 years, trying to do that same stuff with the Rangers and it not working there either. And shout out to Artur Shilovs with the shutout for the Penguins. Now, he's not playing tonight. It's going to be Tristan Jarry tonight at home against the Islanders. But in the end, I give Muse credit. Some of the scratches I thought were surprises. Matthew Dumba, I thought for sure he was going to find his way into the lineup. He did not. You start looking at the offensive side as well. It looks like everybody's going to get a legit opportunity. You either perform and play or you disappoint and ride the bench. We'll see. I hope Tommy Novak is on the bench this particular game tonight, because I can't imagine anyone that deserves to play less than that guy from what I saw in the first game. A lot to break down with the Penguins. The young guys looked young. Erik Karlsson looked like a first-team All-Star. I never thought I would see that out of his tenure with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'll give that one to Dan Muse as well. A lot of rumblings from the Pirates that they were potentially considering firing hitting coach Matt Haig. Can't believe why there had to be rumors and rumblings. That should have been an automatic as soon as the season ended, but they've decided they're going to stick with him. So why not? Lowest home runs, one of the worst averages, one of the lowest in hits. Most of them were the bottom of the National League, toward the bottom of the Major League Baseball in general stats. But yet he'll be back, so can't wait. I'm sure the Pirates are going to look a whole lot better next year. Nick and I were talking off air. All the good teams are playing now, and some of them are getting eliminated. The Yankees go down, and they're out. The Toronto Blue Jays, they're a huge market, right? That's like Los Angeles in Canada, right? Oh, no, wait a minute. They're not they're not a big market, but yet there they are pounding the Yankees. Milwaukee, Detroit. I mean, look at the teams that are still there and looking decent. So for anyone that tells you you can only win in Major League Baseball if you live in a big city that spends a ton of money, all lies, most of them generated by the ownership down at PNC Park. And of course, how could I do this intro without referencing the embarrassment that is Penn State? And you can point in a lot of different directions, and I know people have tried to do that all week. You can talk about how disappointing quarterback Drew Aller has been, how the defense was non-existent, how the special teams really didn't adjust to anything. That onside kick, they're backing up instead of coming to the ball, not paying one bit of attention. I'll say here what I've said all week. In their last 16 games against top 5 opponents, they're 1-15. In their last 25 against top 10 opponents, they're 4-21. There are a lot of different teams that have come through Penn State. A lot of superstars like Saquon Barkley, who's part of that have come through Penn State. The only constant in all of that is head coach James Franklin. I don't know what it's going to take for that guy to be gone. Apparently not losing to winless UCLA, coming in unprepared with a horrendous game plan that, shocker, featured no adjustments at any point in that game. They lose to Oregon. The team ranked second at the start of this season is now out of the top 25, much deserved to be out of the top 25. Do you have to lose to Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana in 3 consecutive weeks? Remember, prior to the Oregon game, they played 3 nobodies and didn't cover the spread twice. This is not a national championship team. This is not a team deserving of making that playoff at the end of the year. Texas in the same boat. Texas was 1. They're out of the top 25 as well. Huge disappointments, but in Penn State's case, they're an embarrassment because I didn't see Arch Manning losing to a team that had 0 wins. Except Ohio State, I guess, the first game of the season. But hey, they're the number 1 team in football. Also very well deserved. A lot to talk about this week on the Sports Voice. There's always a lot to talk about on the Sports Voice. We've got our picks of the week. Kind of a rough week for literally everybody except Josh, who's running away with this thing. I don't know how anyone's going to end up catching him by the time it's all said and done. But all of our picks are in. We'll share some of them with you as we make our way through the show. Definitely the Steeler pick. And as always, you'll see them posted on WMBS Facebook probably as soon as tomorrow. TJ's still waiting for my sheet. It's there. It's in his mailbox waiting for tomorrow. So I'm assuming everything will get posted then. So those of you that follow along, you can watch Josh probably dominate all of us yet another week in a row. Nick was having a rough time of it last week with the picks.
Yeah, all this football I watch is for nothing, I guess. It's been brutal, Dave. It's like March Madness, but every week for months.
It just goes to show the NFL's hard enough to predict anyways.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at spreads, trying to pick these games, it's almost impossible.
And I usually go with the team with a better quarterback, and if there's a really big number, I shy away. But yeah, it's been brutal for us, but at least one of us is good at it. Good job, Josh, attorney at law.
I try to look into as many different things as I can in the minute and a half I spend making my picks.
That long? Good for you.
I did. Well,
That's
it was 30 seconds. It was 30 seconds every week until last week. I spent a minute and a half. I went 8-6. So I'll take that. That's an improvement for me.
That's above the mean.
That's above the mean. If I worked for the clown that owns the Steelers right now, he would be very happy with my job performance.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Above the mean.
And that's a good place to start, I think, the Steelers, because we didn't really get to say too much about them. It was more of a rehash of what they did in Dublin, which basically not only allowed Minnesota to hang in the game, but then gave the ball back to them at the end with a chance to win, which I get Carson Wentz was at quarterback, but yet you're giving it back to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. It's a lot to put on your overpaid, over-the-hill defense, but they seem to put a lot on them week in and week out. Moving into this week, there's a good chance that we're going to see in action both Joey Porter and Alex Highsmith, who we've not seen for a little while. Deshaun Elliott should be out there. So it looks like the excuses of not being healthy, and that's why all these rush yards have been picked up and why receivers are standing wide open. A lot of that will disappear, I'm assuming, this week. Now, I can't imagine a ton of rushing yards, although I will say that the player probably this year I'm more impressed with than anybody else is Cleveland running back Quinshon Judkins, who held out for the entirety of camp and the preseason, saying he would never play for that team, ends up finally relenting because realized they're not going to trade him either, so he had no other option. And he's, I thought, performed above the mean, what we expected from him, almost 100 yards rushing last week against Minnesota. I know Gainwell put up a lot more than that, the backup, maybe starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be easy to stop him. And Dillon Gabriel, there's a lot you can say. He's 26 years old. He's played college football forever, I think almost as long as Kenny Pickett during his tenure. Gabriel's been on just about as many teams. But in the end, I thought he was efficient in what he could do. But yet again, you're looking at all these rookies who are playing, Isaiah Bond and Harold Fannin. I mean, look at all the guys that get playing time with the Cleveland Browns. At least it looks like maybe they're trying to see what they have and build for the future. Who knows where they'll be within the next couple of years. I doubt we'll see Shedeur Sanders in the lineup at all. But they try to hang in with games. They hung in, even with the Lions, who ended up blowing them out. They hung in with them decently until the fourth quarter when the Lions just started scoring at will on them. They're like a sneaky team. I'm not saying in any way they're going to beat the Steelers, but they're one of those sneaky teams that the Steelers tend to have trouble with when they play them. They overlook them. They'll look and say, hey, this guy's 5'11" at quarterback, and the running back's a rookie, and the line is young, and these receivers really outside of Jerry Jeudy have no pedigree. And Njoku, we'll put one of our inside linebackers across the middle to cover him. Don't have to worry about anything there. I mean, it's the ultimate trap game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's at home, and it's at prime time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, against a team that they normally should have more success against than they do, but it's also a team that usually beats them once, even though they're a far inferior team year in and year out.
Yes, Brown Steelers belongs at 1 every year, and that's where it is. And yeah, I mean, that's a team that the Steelers have pretty much dominated over the years. The Browns did beat them in the playoffs with maybe the current best quarterback in the NFL, Baker Mayfield. We'll get to Tampa later, but yeah, it's asking a lot of Dillon Gabriel after London, after no time off, to play a Steelers team with a bye that's at home. I mean, he's going to have to get past TJ Watt in that pass rush. So good luck to him. It's his first career start in North America. So yeah, and you mentioned the limitations they have, but they did, with Joe Flacco, albeit, beat the Packers a few weeks ago. So it's a roster that, has some names. You mentioned Jeudy. Judkins has been great. Myles Garrett's still there on defense. So, but they're 1-4 for a reason. It's a game the Steelers absolutely must win. There's no excuse. You're at home with the bye, the Browns with the rookie, and coming off the London game, this is a game you have to win, or it's an organizational failure. You'll still be 3-2, still a winning record, but you got to win this one, Dave.
And Cleveland's been pretty active in the last couple of weeks. They traded Joe Flacco a couple of days ago. Apparently, Kevin Stefanski was not aware that was going to happen, so that was a little bit of a surprise. We know his fascination with not playing Shedeur Sanders, to the point where expatriate quarterback Bailey Zappi has been elevated on the roster and could potentially be the backup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded defensive backs yesterday. They've traded linebackers. They're not getting anything better in return. It's kind of like the same. It's like a push but I guess maybe they're trying to associate themselves with different people who don't remind them of the fact that they don't ever win anything, which could be part of it. Myles Garrett, we know, makes a ton of money on defense. At least he's really the only one on their defense that makes a ton of money. Not saying that they make good decisions, because we know how much Deshaun Watson makes and how that's hurt them, not just with the salary, but with the draft picks they've lost in recent years.
And he voiced how much he didn't want to be there, but then they threw piles of money at him and said, all right, I'll keep losing here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Shedeur came out today and said he's thankful, whatever the Browns decide to do with him, he's thankful that they drafted him. And I think he actually spoke. I don't think he mimed it like he's been doing for the last couple of weeks to the media. So it's a mess. I mean, we've talked about the Hazlitt. The ownership is a mess there. The organization is a mess. There's a reason why they lose consistently. It's like if you went to Cleveland and rooted for the football team, it's like rooting for the baseball team here. It's an organization that's in shambles. It doesn't seem like they care most of the time whether they win or don't win, but yet they do get themselves pumped up for the Steelers. This is like their Super Bowl when they get to play the Steelers. And normally each year they take one of these games somehow, some way.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's the one in Cleveland. Maybe they can get George Pickens to run up in the stands and fight. There's always something extracurricular that goes on within these games that allows them to get a win. This one's in Pittsburgh. Steelers are 3-1. Probably shouldn't be 3-1 when you look back to opening week, but they are 3-1. I mean, the Jets are winless, but took the Steelers down to the wire. Minnesota's not exactly faring all that well. They came back and took it down to the wire. Seattle, I know you think more of them than I do, but they pounded the Pittsburgh Steelers in that game. And then look at New England. I mean, did the Steelers really win that game, or did New England lose that game?
But that win looks better because New England went into Buffalo and won somehow.
Yes, and handed the ball to Buffalo a couple times too, but still found a way to win in the end. Buffalo made some really bad mistakes.
They did.
Keon Coleman ended up getting benched for his. Allen throws that pick. You don't ever see that.
No.
So the Buffalo did help out a little bit with New England, because they knew New England was going to give the ball away a couple of times. So once again, I don't credit the Steelers as doing anything special against the Patriots. They've put the ball on the turf for every team they've played. The Steelers took advantage of that.
They did. Great touchdown from Rodgers in that game. Yeah, who's been their MVP by far.
Yeah, and that's kind of going back to what I said at the beginning. I know a lot of people were angry with him early on. People complaining, saying, hey, this guy doesn't really want to be a Steeler. Why are we wasting all this time with him? Why not start Rudolph? Why not go out and sign, insert free agent quarterback that was available here? But in the end, I think when you look at this team without Rodgers, I mean, look at what's there. I mean, Calvin Austin missed a couple. Roman Wilson, for whatever reason, can't seem to get a jersey.
No.
But yet Ben Skoranek and Scotty Miller get out there. They don't use the tight ends. Freiermuth's been invisible.
Insane.
Gainwell's the starting running back probably on this team. The line blocks for nobody. They've got to bring 2 extra tight ends in to block because of how bad the line is. And yet this team's 3-1.
Yep.
And Metcalf, I mean, he's looked good, but he's dropped a bunch of balls. That goes to show Rodgers, and even at 41 years old, the caliber of quarterback that he is. Because if Rudolph's in there or some other free agent acquisition at quarterback is in there, this team could very easily be 1-3 or maybe even 0-4 right now.
Yes, well, Rodgers was great, historic with Green Bay. He's been good with Pittsburgh. When was he bad? Oh, that's right, the Jets. Maybe it's the Jets' problem.
Although Justin Fields looked great with the Jets against the Steelers and has looked horrendous ever since.
Yeah, that's true. But they're still an awful organization, and Rodgers said he was happy to beat them. And yeah, I mean, Rodgers has been great. I heard a national media guy say that Rodgers has been great, but all the credit goes to Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin. I'm sure you like that. What's Arthur Smith dialing up that, I mean, it's Rodgers.
Well, here's the best.
Smith.
What's Arthur Smith dialing up that Rodgers is actually calling at the line?
That's exactly.
I have
silly.
a feeling most of this is audibled out by him.
Yeah.
Especially the crucial situations where he realizes there's no way this is going to work.
That's right. But it is funny because I think he had better weapons with the Jets, but he looks better with the Steelers. So the Steelers get some credit for that. And yeah, 3-1 is what it is. And Yeah, they could easily be 1-3, 0-4, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But those are wins, and you got to win this Browns game, because if you lose that, it makes people will say, well, you beat the Jets, who are bad, and you only beat New England with the 5 turnovers. And Minnesota had the backup quarterback. But if you stomp on the Browns, then beat the Bengals, hey, you're 5-1 going into that big Sunday night game against Green Bay, which Rodgers would love to stick it to his old team.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a great game.
Especially Matt LaFleur.
Yes, absolutely.
Who wanted him to quarterback while all this motion was going on, and he wanted no part of it.
No, he didn't.
To the point where they had to move him because he was so vocal.
And he'd love to stick it to the kid, Jordan Love. So, yeah, they should be 5-1 going to Green Bay that game, but I have a sneaking suspicion they'll split these next two.
Well, it's going to be hard to prep for Flacco because this is a new team for him. And, we heard that before. Meanwhile, they'd seen Flacco 11 times at that point, but it was a different system, so they weren't sure what he was going to do. Have they watched any film on Joe Flacco? He's never done anything different his entire career. He could never move. He was like the Statue of Liberty back there. All you have to do is put a pass rush on him, which for some reason they don't seem to be able to do, and you'll basically control that offense. But Flacco throws all over them. He has his entire career, and I'm sure he will when he plays against them with Chase and Higgins, and you got legit weapons on this team.
Dave, next Thursday night, America's treated to Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers. They better take a nap before that late game.
They're probably the two oldest in the league, I'm guessing.
By far.
Yeah, because Rodgers was 05 and Flacco was 08.
Yeah, Brady finally retired, so we're left with Flacco and Rodgers.
Yeah, the next closest has to be, I'm guessing, Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
12, Cousins. Those guys were the same year.
I think they're the two oldest by far. I think Nick Folk may be the third oldest, the kicker for the Jets. So, yeah, in the league, not just quarterbacks. But, yeah, I mean, they should win these next two, but Flacco always plays them tough, and the Browns are feisty against them because you're right, it is their Super Bowl. It'll be a fun matchup. Myles Garrett on one side, Watt on the other, probably both future Hall of Famers, and the Browns are always feisty, as I said.
So the overzealous media now has already established that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be the king of the North. They're going to be the AFC North champions based on the issues with Baltimore. And when Jackson comes back, who knows how many losses the Ravens will have racked up at that point.
Yeah.
Cleveland being very young and 1-4, and then the Bengals now turning to Joe Flacco because it's going to be months until you see Joe Burrow. So now it's these invented, created trade opportunities to get the Steelers a number 2 wide receiver. Now, the Steelers haven't moved on any of this outside of bringing in Mike Williams, who they rarely used because he couldn't learn the ultra-thin playbook.
Yeah.
They really haven't jumped on anybody significant to bring in as a potential number 2 target, but Jayden Waddle's name is being thrown around all over the place for the last 2 days. Is there any legitimate hope that the Pittsburgh Steelers would offer up whatever it might take to the Miami Dolphins to bring in the caliber of a Jayden Waddle, which I think would be, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't think the thought and the hope is unwarranted here. I think Waddle would be a great addition. He's a possession guy. You can run Metcalf down the field. You're clearly not using your other options. Austin's banged up again because he's tiny and fragile. Roman Wilson, nobody can find him. We have no idea where he is. You don't want Ben Skoranek and Scotty Miller out there. So it makes sense, but to an ownership group that's happy being above the mean, to a GM who's basically a hand puppet for the head coach, is this a legitimate option that they would go out and trade away probably a decent pick? I mean, what's Waddle going to take, a 3rd or 4th round pick next year to bring this guy in and to incur the salary? Because if you pay him that kind of money, how much are you going to have left to spend on another old guy to play defense next year? So I'm sure it's a conundrum for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is there any hope, Nick, that we see Jayden Waddle in black and gold?
It would be nice, but you're right. They're already paying Metcalf, and I believe Jaylen Waddle plays offense, and they don't want to spend money on that because, it's 1976 and offense is not important. Oh, wait. Yeah, it'd be nice, but if the Miami's in the full tank, which I think they should be with the Tyreek out and Tua just never going to be as good as they thought, they should move him. But, yeah, I don't see the Steelers doing it. I'm surprised they got Metcalf, frankly. But, they can do things that surprise us, so I don't see it. No, I think they're going to just keep what they have there. Maybe they'll finally utilize the tight ends. I don't know, to throw the ball. I mean, they should throw the ball down the field more, and Waddle would be a good threat for that, a good weapon for that, but I just don't see him doing it.
Well, if they continue, and I know they said they just did it because it was Minnesota and they were concerned with the pass rush, but if they continue to do what they've done with these linemen and using the tight ends, you'll never see Freiermuth because he can't block.
That's right.
Even if you're going to have him block and release, Freiermuth can't even do that. So you have Smith blocking and release, and you have Washington blocking pretty much the whole time.
That was a bad pick.
You're throwing 7. Why don't you just admit that your projects didn't work on the offensive line and remove them?
Can't do that.
If Broderick Jones can't block the blind side, instead of bringing in an extra player, which is going to take the place of a skill position that you could have out there running a route, why not just take out Broderick Jones and put someone in who might be able to block that side a little bit better than what he's doing?
That would be admitting they're wrong, which I guess they have done because they've traded away a lot of their recent draft picks. Pickett, Hampton, Harrison, Pickens. But, yeah, they don't want to admit they're wrong. And Jones, they've given him every chance. I know Cara Hardy works. It's not working out.
No, and that, I think, if you look at a situation against a team like Cleveland, who's young and mostly inexperienced, but they do have that star power on defense, I think you put a little pressure on Aaron Rodgers, you're going to go back. You're going to see the Steelers go back to these 7 linemen, and it's going to limit significantly what they're able to call on offense. And we also have to ask the question, Warren, Gainwell, who's the running back? And what situations are they going to play? I think Warren is probably the most effective shot they have at a third down back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think Gainwell's better on first and second down.
Yes,
that's
agreed.
what you need to do. But will they? Will we see Gainwell out there on third down? Will we see Warren out there on second down? Will we see Caleb Johnson?
I was going to say, where is he?
He got some playing time against Minnesota
Where's
because
Roman
Warren
Wilson?
didn't play.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to know where Roman Wilson, I think, could be effective.
Yeah.
I don't think Caleb Johnson's going to be effective.
No.
Not this. He's too far gone at this
That
point.
kick in the Seattle game, that blunder, that was it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't good in the preseason
He's
anyway.
not going to recover from that this year because
No.
they don't have a leadership group or a coach that can help him to recover. They buried him further after that instead of trying to coach him up and bring him back to where he might be able to perform as a running back.
Well, that was
they
what the-
ruined his season by the way he was treated following that.
Well, that's what St. Vincent is for, teaching him the rule book. I mean, they're trying to win games now. I don't begrudge them that. They should have coached him up in the summer.
Well,
So,
did they teach him or didn't they? How do you not
apparently
know that
not.
rule?
They didn't. That's what I'm saying.
And
but it's too late now. You're trying to win games now.
But I'll say this too. I mean, he let that ball go and stood there. So did everybody else.
You're right.
So my guess is nobody knew except Jabril Peppers,
It's on Danny
who learned
Smith.
it on another team.
It's on Danny Smith. It's
Well, it
never
is.
Tomlin's fault.
I don't know why you have an 80-plus-year-old out there coaching on special
Aw.
teams when every other team in the league has a young, up-and-coming, fiery guy.
He's in great shape.
He's
See
in
him
great
lift?
shape, but he's fiery, but he's not young or up-and-coming.
No, but I get your point.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not there. He's the least of their issues, though.
well, yeah, there are issues that don't let the 3-1 record fool you. Go back and look at who they beat and look at how they beat them. You can do that against the Jets and maybe even a young New England team. But you're not going to do that against Green Bay. You're not going to do that against the Colts.
No.
The Colts look like a different team.
Yeah, they play them in November.
Jonathan
yeah.
Taylor will run all over them if they let him.
This is the real test. They have tough games coming up. Green Bay, Indy, Buffalo. And if you want to compete for that 1 seed, which I think they will win the division at this point, the Ravens are too far gone.
By default.
By default, but sure, they'll win it. But if you want that 1 seed somehow, you got to win the Colts and Bills games, and I don't think they will right now.
Agreed. Well, there's your preview and our look back at where the Steelers are. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen them in action, so I didn't want you to forget when you get to watch the disappointment unfold on Sunday. We're going to take a quick break. Oh, even if they win, it'll be disappointing. I guarantee it. It'll be disappointing. And you know what I'll hear again? A W's a W.
They'll be 4-1.
You know when you hear that. When I hear someone say a W's a W, that means they were surprised by how it happened and they're disappointed that it wasn't a blowout or more significant or by more or made the team actually look like there's momentum building that they could get into the playoffs and do something.
Say they win 37-10. They'll get credit for that, right?
They should. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody should say a W's a W. If they win
No.
37-10, it's decisive. So
Yeah.
and it should be against Cleveland.
Should be.
It should be.
I don't think it will be. I
Probably
think they
not,
win.
but we'll see. We'll see what
They
happens.
will win, but it won't be pretty.
And I'll hear all week a W's a W.
4-1. On to Cincinnati. On to Joe Flacco.
And I'll hear about that. Well, it's Flacco, and Cincinnati lost Burrow. I'll hear all those excuses why Cincinnati can't win. Like I've heard the excuses why Cleveland can't win, but I've never heard anything overwhelmingly as to why Pittsburgh's going to blow this team out or any of the other teams that they've played thus far. So, whatever. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will make our first pick of the week. Cleveland at Pittsburgh, 1 o'clock. Nick and I will make our picks live. I will share picks of everyone else. It'll give you a little preview as to what this week's installment of the WMBS Pick'em is going to look like. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The UPMC Rehabilitation Institute on Wayland Smith Drive offers cutting-edge physical therapy. Jim Burns and his staff are residents of the community, treating sports injuries, neurological conditions, back pain, sprains and strains, joint replacements, hand injuries, and other conditions. They treat you efficiently and safely by taking all necessary precautions while disinfecting the clinic regularly. All insurance accepted. Experienced therapists. Convenient location and hours. Part of the community. Call the office with a prescription from your doctor or schedule by direct access 724-437-7500.
This is Dr. Alyssa Lorenz of U.S. Digestive Health in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Common issues like difficulty with swallowing, frequent heartburn, recurrent abdominal pain, bowel habit problems, and rectal bleeding are often easily diagnosed and treated. Dr. Calabrese Stokes, Hoppy, and I are local gastroenterologists that are here to help. For more information, call our Uniontown office at 724-437-7677.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, a part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors, where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
I've been thinking about switching primary care providers. It takes forever to get an appointment, and when I finally get in, the staff acts like they don't even care that I'm there.
That's so frustrating. You deserve a provider who listens, values your time, and truly cares about your health.
That's exactly what I need. Someone who sees me as a person, not just another name on a chart.
Then you should check out Montgomery Medical. They treat you like family, offer personalized care, and even have same-day appointments.
At Montgomery Medical, your health is our priority. Call 724-569-8100 Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine.
Ready to score big on your next home? Well, great news. Huge savings are waiting for you at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. From open floor plans perfect for game day parties to energy-efficient homes that will help you save money all season long, these homes are built to deliver. Don't wait on the sidelines. Make the winning play today and find the home that fits your family and lifestyle. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon at 4500 Route 51.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles, and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Feeling lucky? Your next big jackpot is waiting for you. Visit the casino at Nemacolin in Farmington, PA for the ultimate casino experience featuring the hottest table games, daily promotions, big-time giveaways, and an exciting variety of premium slots. And after, celebrate your big win with a juicy burger at the Royale while you watch the big game. Hotel packages available. Visit CasinoNemacolin.com for more information. The Casino at Nemacolin. Game on. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. So we've been talking Pittsburgh Steelers. To kind of wrap up all of that talk, I have the injury report from today. So for those of you curious as to who may or may not play this week, DK Metcalf, who was having Veterans Day yesterday, did not practice today either. but it's non-injury related, resting vet. Jalen Ramsey didn't practice, nor has he practiced all week with a hamstring injury. That popped up later on, and there was a lot of speculation that he may not play this week. So just throw that out there. You've got a couple of guys coming back, but Jalen Ramsey may be out. Wide receiver Ben Skoranek was a full participant today with an illness, undisclosed what that illness is. Wide receiver Calvin Austin with a shoulder issue did not practice today, also has not practiced all week. Speculation that he may not play. Does that get Roman Wilson out there, Nick? Without Calvin Austin, do we see, or with Skoranek sick, do we just see Scotty Miller? Like, how does that work?
Scotty Miller, the great white hope. Yeah, I mean, if he can't get in now, then he's never going to. So I don't get what they're doing with him.
Darius Slay had Veterans Day yesterday. He was a full participant in practice today. Joey Porter with the hamstring was a full participant today. Jalen Warren with the knee, full participant today. Alex Highsmith with the ankle, full participant today. And TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, who had Veterans Day yesterday. Watt was a full participant today. Hayward had an encore of Veterans Day today. So only really significant injuries that I can see here are both Ramsey and Austin. It looks like everybody else is going to play. So people that we haven't seen suited up for a while, or people who were a little bit limited, like Deshaun Elliott against Minnesota, looks like everybody's good to go. Full participants. I don't see any reason any of them aren't there. The Warren Gainwell thing should be interesting to see how they handle that. Highsmith, Herbig. I mean, honestly, you start looking at this pass rushing position. It's not even outside linebacker because they don't really do anything else. But I know Herbig's tiny, but hey, he was getting to the quarterback too. Why we pay so much money to these people just absolutely blows my mind. But does Highsmith, how long does he last? Does he get hurt again? Or will he potentially be replaced? Because they do rotate these Sawyer, they rotate these other ones in here and there. And now with Ramsey out, well, Slay was just getting Veterans Day, so I'm assuming he's fine. So you'll see Slay, Porter, Elliott, and I'm assuming Eccles? Thornhill? I don't know, one of those guys, who knows?
It's going to be brutal.
So no injury excuses unless, the fastest player. Now, wait a minute.
Calvin
so the fastest
Austin.
player in NFL history, he won't be available to do kick returns. Does that mean that it's going to be Gainwell and Johnson?
No, please, no, not Caleb Johnson.
Can we put Warren back there? I mean, if Warren's not going to be the clear-cut number one back, why can't he go back there and do that?
Yeah, they should find someone. But, special teams may rear their ugly head.
So in the end, just setting it up, we've got 5 rookies for Cleveland, including quarterback Dylan Gabriel, running back Quinshon Judkins, one of their starting receivers, Isaiah Bond, Harold Fannin, who's the number 2 tight end, but usually is out there to start the game. So a lot of young players will be out there for the Cleveland Browns. Of course, Myles Garrett's still out there on defense, along with some other decent names. The defense has played well, has kept Cleveland in games pretty much all year. So it should be a blowout, you would think, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but chances are, just like every other week, probably not going to happen that way. The line as of now is Pittsburgh favored at home by 6.5 points. As you know, here on WMBS, we've been doing this pick 'em all year. We pick every game on the slate. Only 14 last week, back to 16 this week. No bye weeks this week for anyone. We're back to normal. The records are average at best, unless you're Josh Kryzik Esquire. Outside of that, it's been pretty rough for the rest of us. I did better last week, so I'm sneaking up. Nick trying to redeem himself this week. It's time to do our picks of the week, starting with the Pittsburgh Steeler game. Nick, are you going to go with the Steelers at home? 6.5 a lot. They don't cover the spread that often.
No.
Is that enough to beat the Cleveland Browns?
Seems like the ultimate trap game, but just everything going the Steelers' way. You do feel squeamish about it. I mean, the Browns coming off London with the rookie quarterback, all the rookies starting. Steelers had the bye, a pretty impressive win. I mean, not overwhelming, but they did beat the Vikings. So 3-1, you could put a big feather in your cap there. If you go 4-1, then 5-1 if you beat Flacco next week. I think they do it. It's not going to be pretty, but I think they win by a touchdown. Rodgers does enough. I'll say I don't know, 21-14, Steelers win it.
Winning by half a point.
Yep,
if
Steelers
we're
win.
picking the spread, which
By
we
7.
are.
Yep.
Looking at the other picks that have been put in for this game, I see that Brian Morozak has picked the Cleveland Browns with those 6.5 points. Might not be the worst of picks. TJ has gone with the Steelers. Matt, I have to look at how he has his name on here. Matt picked the Steelers. Josh Kryzik Esquire, the leader in this. I should have just looked at his and picked whoever he picked.
really.
He's got the Steelers. Bill Madden, who we refer to here as William, he picked the Steelers. And I'm taking the Steelers too. I almost have to. Like I like what Cleveland is doing. I like what Stefanski does, especially trying to get these young players acclimated to this offense. I think he's creative, much different than what you see for the Steelers. But I think they're in over their head. Too many veterans on the Steelers, too many rookies on Cleveland. I think they're going to make more progress than Pittsburgh is when it's all said and done at the end of the year. But I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. I'll say 28-14. I think they'll be able to amass a few beyond the 6.5. Well, there's our first one. We'll make the rest of them as part of hour 2. We do have a live remote, so we're going to be all over the board with making sure we get everything we can get into you. We got Penguins to talk, maybe a little MLB playoffs. Definitely look at last week in the NFL and make our picks for this upcoming week. And I'll try to hammer Penn State at least a few more times within that second hour. So still a lot to come. Don't go away. Sports Voice coming back.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6651.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991 for the fine art of dentistry.
Nice fall day, sunny and 58 outside of our Davis & Davis studios. Now CBS News at 5 o'clock, WMBS Uniontown.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Breaking news at this hour. A grand jury has indicted New York Attorney General Letitia James. This marks the second federal prosecution of one of President Trump's foes. It comes 2 weeks after a grand jury, also in Virginia, voted to indict former FBI Director James Comey. CBS's Nancy Cordes.
As you can imagine, the president is going to be thrilled to hear this because he has been pushing his Department of Justice to do exactly what they have done today.
There is a lot riding on the deal to win the war in Gaza, especially for the families of hostages, as Haley Ott reports from Hostage Square in Tel Aviv.
For pretty much the last 2 years, the families of the hostages and many Israelis have been turning out on the street, protesting, demanding that their government agree to some sort of deal to bring all the hostages home and to end the war in Gaza. And now it seems like that could be happening.
But it's a day of complicated emotions, according to Rachel Goldberg, whose son was shot dead by his Palestinian captors.
For some of the families, the deal will happen, and this will be the best day of the rest of their lives. And for the majority of the families, for 28 of the families, this is an extremely profoundly sad day.
And Robert Berger reports after the hostages are released, there are still some complicated aspects of the deal to work out.
Who's going to take control of Gaza? Who's going to control security? Who's going to rule Gaza? How is Hamas going to be disarmed?
With the government shutdown continuing, a lot of federal workers are keeping an eye on their dwindling savings. Jared Hill reports.
Food banks across the country are stocking up, bracing for higher demand, with hundreds of thousands of federal workers and contractors going without pay.
Anytime someone suddenly doesn't receive a paycheck that they're expecting for their house and their livelihood, it can really cause a lot of stress.
Sick outs by air traffic controllers are still causing delays at some airports. CBS's Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic controllers found to be abusing the FAA's sick time rules could ultimately get fired. We are seeing another day of spotty staffing issues at facilities across the country. So far, delays and cancellations have remained relatively low, but those air traffic control sick calls are up.
A federal judge has ordered a man charged in California's deadly Palisades fire to remain jailed amid concerns about his mental health. A prosecutor said Jonathan Rinderknecht had traits of an arsonist, and his family worried about his declining mental state. On Wall Street today, stocks finish lower. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? Fact. Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact. Your community, your connection.
Concerned about your heart health? At WVU Medicine, we believe your heart deserves world-class care, close to home and always within reach. Our non-invasive cardiology team uses advanced tests like stress tests and cardiac MRI to diagnose and monitor heart conditions without surgery. Call 877-WVU, the number 4HRT, or visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
A Hungarian wins the 2025 Nobel Literature Prize, as CBS's Vicky Barker reports from London.
Awarding the prize to Laszlo Krasznahorka, the jury singled out the Hungarian novelist's themes of choice: postmodern dystopia and melancholy in a post-communist apocalyptic world.
Krasznahorka's dark outlook on life is fused with his extraordinary linguistic vitality.
The 71-year-old Krasznahorka wins an award worth $1.2 million, a gold medal, a diploma, and a place in literary history. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Federal safety regulators have opened another investigation into Tesla's so-called full self-driving technology. Dozens of incidents have been reported involving cars running red lights or driving on the wrong side of the road, sometimes crashing into other vehicles. Authorities say they have 58 incidents that have been reported. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
And this is WMBS at 5:05, and let's go live to TJ and Arnie, and we'll tell you where they are. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing well, Nick, thank you. And we are here at the Uniontown Mall for the Hometown Heroes Community Day, the 4th annual car cruise. TJ DeStefano here and Arnie Amber. Arnie, it's a great night here for a car cruise. And again, this is all being put on by Ametasys.
And it is beautiful. I cannot believe how many cars are here already, and we just started. It goes from 5 until 7. A lot of food vendors and trucks, a lot of giveaways. Come on out.
It is. There's free registration, free entertainment, free giveaways. You're playing the great music, as you mentioned. There's many food trucks here, and we have the famous WMBS prize wheel. This is going to be going out here as well in just a few minutes.
And I cannot believe the crowd already.
I know.
And Mother Nature is smiling. I thought it was going to be a little bit colder than what it is. It's hot.
It is. It is. But, hey, we'll take it for the beginning of October.
Okay. We are located behind the Uniontown Mall, behind the old Sears, or the current Sears, whatever it is, by the flagpole. And we are awaiting the AMVETS to get out here. They want to do a salute to the veterans and we are going to be doing that. And that's probably going to be about 10 minutes, give or take. But a lot of time to get out here, find a parking place, and just enjoy the last big car cruise of the summer season with me.
Yeah, and it's a great night. Again, stop on out and see us, the Hometown Heroes Community Day 4th Annual Car Cruise. We're at the Uniontown Mall until 7 tonight. We have pictures on the WMBS Facebook page. We're going to have a video going up that we did with Amanda DeGespie talking about and showing all the vendors and everything they have here. So we'll be checking back in on the air around 5:30. And for now, though, for Arnie Amber, this is TJ DeStefano. We'll send it back to Nick Barczyk in our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
Good afternoon, 5:07, 57 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studio. Sunny skies on this Thursday. Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis studios in downtown Uniontown at your local station, WMBS, the Weather Watch and Sports on the way in a bit. Pennsylvania state budget is now more than 100 days past due. Last night, the state House of Representatives approved an over $50 billion budget. The vote was 105-98, with 3 Republicans joining Democrats in approving the spending deal. Leaders in the Democratic-controlled House said it represents about a 5% spending increase from last year. Education and Medicaid are 2 major focuses in the budget. The governor says he wants the state Senate to come together so a budget can reach his desk as soon as possible. A plan similar to this one was already rejected by the Republican-controlled Senate. The governor said that while the bill is below what he proposed, he is ready to sign it immediately. The Senate is back in session in 11 days. And Westmoreland County, Ohio-based, Dayton Freight, is announcing plans for development in Westmoreland County. The company is going to build an over 35,000 square foot shipping cross-dock and additional office space in South Huntington Township. About 50 people are expected to be employed at the facility once it is over. 2 Western Pennsylvania projects are among 11 in the state receiving grant funding from the Keystone State. Governor Shapiro is announcing almost $40 million in grant money for 11 projects through the PA Sites program, an effort to transform underused land into job shovel-ready sites. Among the awards announced this week is a $6 million grant to help with the development of a distribution and logistics hub in Stowe, and a $5.1 million grant is going toward further development of Washington County's Fort Cherry Development District. And more news next on WMBS.
Josh Krysak here with Ron Romeo from Ultimate Structures outside of Perryopolis. Ron, is it true that at Ultimate Structures you can customize sheds and metal buildings to meet your client needs?
Absolutely, Josh. Each manufacturer that I represent offers an on-site design program to develop the building of your needs.
What kind of enhancements and options are available for those looking for a new shed or metal building?
We basically start out with a model without options. The customer chooses a style and size. There's hundreds of options available to design what works best for the customer's needs.
When you're ready to take your storage building game to the next level, call Ultimate Structures at 724-415-0020. Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis. They design what you desire.
Acrisure Stadium, the home of the Steelers, said to get thousands of new seats over the next 4 years in a multi-million-dollar upgrade. The Sports and Exhibition Authority in Allegheny, their board today, unanimously agreed to pay over $6 million for the first phase of seat replacements, which will swap out more than 22,000 seats this year and next. Most of the current seats are original to the stadium and in poor condition. And the Steelers will be in action at Acrisure on Sunday against the Browns, favored by 6.5, or is it 7.5? 6.5 in that game. Thank you, Dave. 6.5. I took the Steelers by 7. Dave thinks they're going to win by 2 touchdowns, so they'll probably lose. Steelers-Browns Sunday at 1 on WMBS. Dylan Gabriel versus Aaron Rodgers. That's the matchup we all want. And the Penguins are back in action tonight, looking to go to 2-0 against the Islanders after beating the Rangers opening night. They're in action tonight at 7 on WMBS. Playoff baseball tonight in the National League. Cubs, Brewers, and the Phillies, Dodgers. And on Friday, we'll bring you high school football. See our Barado Group High School Sports Night, Bell Vernon at Laurel Highlands, and Northern Garrett, Maryland at Uniontown. Radio and video for the LH game, video for the Red Raider game. Sprouse Insurance Group pregame at 6, games at 7 on WMBS.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
This weather report being brought to you by Montgomery Medical. Trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care, newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. And now the weather.
And right now, sunny and 61. Frost advisory, though, for midnight through 9 a.m. tomorrow. The low tonight, 42. 70 with sun Friday, low in the evening, 47. Nice fall weekend, sunny and 72 Saturday. For Sunday, should be a nice day at Acroshore, 68 with sun, low at 50, 67 Monday. Tuesday, 70 with a chance of rain. Same for Wednesday at 68. Right now at 5:11, 58 with sun. Good afternoon, I'm Nick Barczyk, and we have the Stock Report, then the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway on WMBS.
This weather report was brought to you by Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Same-day appointments available for acute care. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment.
Good evening. This is Chris Policki of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down at 243.4 points, closing at 46,358. The NASDAQ Composite was down 18.8 points, closing at 23,025. And the S&P 500 Index was down 18.6 points, closing at 6,735. Among companies of local interest, Apple, $254.04, down $4.02. Amazon, $227.74, up $2.52. Cisco, $69.96, down 37 cents. Boeing, $216, down $9.32. Caterpillar, $500.36, down $1.76. Disney, $110.99, down 90 cents. ExxonMobil, $112.91, down $1.11. First Energy, $46.67, down 1 cent. Johnson & Johnson, $191.08, up $1.39. Home Depot, $377.69, down $6.10. Intel, $37.80, up 37 cents. McDonald's, $293.81, down 59 cents. Meta Platforms, $733.51, up $15.67. PNC Financial Services, $190.67, up 51 cents. Raytheon Technologies, $162.18, down $6.39. Rockwell Automation, $342.80, down $5.31. Tesla, $435.54, down $3.15. Verizon, $40.83, down 49 cents. Walmart, $101.77, down $1.13. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 243.4 points, closing at 46,358. The NASDAQ Composite was down 18.8 points, closing at 23,025. And the S&P 500 Index was down 18.6 points, closing at 6,735. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all your investment needs, this is Chris Fuller.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Voice. Ahead on this hour, it's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. It actually is. The Penguins in the home opener coming off a 3-0 win against Mike Sullivan's New York Rangers, host the New York Islanders. A lot of history between the Penguins and the Islanders. Remember the playoffs, the 3-0 advantage the Penguins lost to the Islanders as part of their dynasty. Remember the Friday night fights in Long Island where you had goaltenders, was it Rick DiPietro and Brent Johnson fighting each other and amongst every other player on the team. And tonight we're going to see the debut of the first overall pick in the National Hockey League this year, Matthew Schaefer, who will be suited up for the Isles. A lot to get excited about, I think, right now, early on, for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Of course, the least of which is the fact that Tristan Jarry will be in net tonight. But maybe the most ironic piece, we look to see whether or not Sidney Crosby can continue this point-per-game streak. Didn't have any in a 3-0 win on opening night. Guaranteed he gets at least 2 points tonight against the Isles. So a lot to look at with the Penguins. I think some interesting decisions as far as the roster goes. I like a lot of what I've seen so far. I really like Dan Muse as coach. I like what he was able to get out of these players in the preseason and the fact that some of the young players are still around as the regular season has begun. I'll take it a little easy on some of the guys that I was torturing on here for a couple of weeks, namely Justin Brazeau, who had 2 goals, and Ben Kindle, who actually looks like he deserves to be the 11th pick in the draft, ended up making the roster out of camp, well-deserved making that roster, and Erik Karlsson, who looked like an elite defenseman. I know it was only 1 game, but there were 82 games last year I didn't see it, and all of the games that he played after being acquired from San Jose the year before where I also didn't see it. There's nothing really bad that I have to say about the Pens. So that will then contrast with all of the bad I have to say about Penn State. I just couldn't believe what I was watching in that game. I wish it was possible. Whatever it takes for Franklin to be removed, I hope happens this season. Call this year a wash. Move on to next year in the future and try to put a potential national champion out there. I'll say the same thing I say with the Steelers. Can Franklin go somewhere else and win? Maybe, probably. Will he ever win anything significant at Penn State? No. When I was asked this summer, what's the chances? Maybe even on the air, I don't remember if it was on air or off. People asked me months ago, what's the chances of Penn State winning a national championship? And right out of my mouth immediately, 0. 0 is the percent. There's no chance they win a national championship. I knew what they were bringing back. I knew what that defense looked like. I knew Aller, for coming back his senior year, the 2-headed monster at running back, the 3 transfer wide receivers who were all starters on their respective teams last year. I knew what was here, but I also knew who the head coach was. And don't forget, when you go back and you look at those staggering numbers as far as the record against any potential decent team, whether it's a top 25, top 10, top 5, the only constant in all of that is the fact that James Franklin was the head coach. It's not as big as you want to make it look. You can pick apart Aller and what he's doing. You can pick apart the line, the running backs, the defense. In the end, they've all come and gone over 10, 11, 12 years worth of time. James Franklin is the only consistent in that storyline. At some point, no matter how much you like who he recruits, you have to look at what takes place during the game, and you have to point the finger at where it needs pointed. We also have to do our NFL picks of the week. We will do that before we go off the air. We're doing check-ins at the Uniontown Mall with TJ and Arnie. There's a lot happening, so for as action-packed as it is, I want to try to get right to it, starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mentioned this a little bit at the onset of the show, a lot that I could take from it that I was excited about. Number one, the 2 young players. When you look at Kindle and you look at Bernick, I know a lot of people probably thinking maybe they're in over their head, maybe they shouldn't be on this team at 18 and 19-year-old. Here's the deal. This is not a team that's going to win a Stanley Cup. And I think a lot of times Penguin fans were just in awe of the superstars that they see out there, and they're still there. They're much older, but Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson, Raquel, Rust will be there maybe as soon as this weekend. You still have that star power, but in the end, they've had that star power for the last several years, and they've won nothing. Most of those years, they've not made the playoffs. You can't overestimate the chances of the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. Is this a good time to start to infuse young players? Absolutely. I loved Koivunen on the first line with Crosby. Did he play well? No. Will he get better? Yes. Did Bernick look great? No, he looked like a 19-year-old defenseman. Will he get better? Yes. There's upside to these guys. There's no upside to Nola Shari or Connor Dewar or Tommy Novak. There's no upside to those guys. There is upside to what you're seeing out of this youth. And I've said it before, we can hold on all we want to this dynasty of Crosby and Letang and Malkin, this aura that goes along with them, and it's all very well deserved. You look at the Stanley Cups that were won through this dominance over a couple of decades worth of time that you've seen these three together. They deserve every accolade you want to give them. But when the Penguins get to that promised land again, the next time they win a Stanley Cup, probably none of them are going to be on this team. But maybe some of this young talent that they're beginning to infuse, maybe some of that young talent will be here. The sooner they get them up, the sooner it will be until this team is competitive again. Kindle impressed me in camp. The first half and even that first game, he was invisible. And then all of a sudden something clicked. He looks like a legit NHL player. Probably only going to be around for the first 9 games, especially if everyone stays healthy and Rust makes it back sooner than later. But in the end, it was nice to get a sample size of the potential that is there. I like Koivunen a lot. I like him with Crosby. He's going to struggle. He's not an NHL established veteran. He's going to struggle for a little while, but you've got to stick with it. You can't just panic and throw Raquel and Rust up there, because putting Ville Koivunen on the third line is not going to help to develop him at all. You're just going to regress him and set him back, just like Sullivan did with so many others through the years, including Philip Hollander, who's back and on the roster. He was a healthy scratch. Don't think he will be tonight, but he was against the Rangers. Just interesting pairings. The 3 6'5", 6'5", and 6'6" guys that were together on the second line, Malkin and Mantha and Brazeau. And I'll admit it, I said Mantha and Brazeau were two stiffs who were slow, couldn't skate, and couldn't stick handle. Mantha still is, but Brazeau, I was impressed. If he does that, I'm fine with it. He could be in the lineup every night if he can make the impact that he made. Now, neither of them, actually none of the three, play like they're 6'5" or 6'6", but still, they're producing offense. 2 goals for Brazeau. I mean, I don't expect to see that every night, but as long as he's not like a -2 or 3, I'm fine with him going out there. I'm fine with him playing with Malkin until they figure out this line structure and everybody ends up getting healthy. The fourth line, it is what it is. I'm fine with Lizotte. I'd like to see better on there than Ashari and Dewar. I'd like to see maybe Avery Hayes come up and play that position as one of the wings on that line. I think there are better, younger, talented players in Wilkes that can come up and do this job. You look at Erik Karlsson, I was impressed. Letang looked slow. Karlsson didn't. Karlsson looked like an elite defenseman. It might only be for one game, but it's one more game than he looked like an elite defenseman last year after playing all of them. Like, I was impressed how a guy that's never been a coach in the NHL before can get that out of Erik Karlsson. That impressed me, especially at the end when they were holding on to that 1-0 lead before Shesterkin got pulled in that game. I'm super impressed with what I saw out of him. And, you look at the other defensemen, they had Jones in there, like they had Shea in there. Dumba was on the bench. Clifton was on the bench, who they supposedly are very high on. I think you're going to see a lot of rotation. I think you're going to see Muse trying to get the best people that he believes on a given night in there. And I think it's going to be different game to game. I think it's going to be based on morning skates. I think it's going to be based on, what takeaways he has and what gut feelings he has as far as putting them in. If anything, they all look knowledgeable. You can tell he's teaching and he's coaching, and it's not just, hey, go out there and do whatever you want. There's a system, and everyone seemed to adhere to it, even Malkin, for the first game. So thoroughly impressed. Shilovs, I'm not saying he won the game or stole the game, but when it came time for him to make a big save, he made it. You can't dismiss the fact that he had a shutout. We'll see what Tristan Jarry's able to accomplish tonight. But better than anything, Nick, I've complained for years about this system. Sullivan's stubborn. He won't change it. He has guys that just can't conform to it anymore, continues to shove it down everyone's throat. Well, it was the exact same system for the New York Rangers, and it failed miserably, just like it had for the Penguins the last 3 years. You get young, fast players, they can do it. He had young, fast players. He sent them all down, just like he did with Pittsburgh the last couple of years. Connor Sherry, the headliner on the third line. 6 guys, 3 on the third line, 3 on the fourth line. They might not score a goal all year if they stay on that team. But yet he's going to continue to do it because it's what he does. It's what he knows. It won him 2 cups with 2 young, fast teams. The Rangers look like they're going nowhere. And now all of a sudden I'm getting nervous because Muse might be a whole lot better than I thought he was, and the Penguins might be a whole lot better than I thought. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. That's why I'd rather them get a chance at Gavin McKenna. But I was excited. I was literally excited watching that game. I can't wait to watch tonight.
Yeah. Oh, so do you want
I don't
them
even
to
care
win or
about
not?
football. I don't know. I want them to win, but I think about the few. I don't know. I want to see how good these young players are. Maybe they don't need Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, he's generational talent, is he not?
He should be.
Yeah.
Well, Lafreniere for the Rangers was supposed to be too, and that hasn't worked out. Connor Bedard was supposed to be.
That's true.
He's been below average, I think, since he's been there.
Yeah, and the Penguins certainly have luck in the lottery. Twice can they make it 3? So, yeah, and Sid wants to win. He looked good. I mean, he looks amazing, and he's so happy when he wins. They said he was beaming even though he didn't have a point in that game.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Only cares about winning.
That's amazing. Even in October, the first game of the year, to stick it to the former coach. And, yeah, Dan Muse getting the win over Mike Sullivan, that's great. Maybe they beat him again Saturday at home twice in a few days.
I would love it.
Would you like that?
I would
But you're
love
still
it.
grateful to Sullivan. I mean, the 2 cups.
Sullivan was great when he came, but you have to think about this. When he came and played the young guys, he came up as the coach at Wilkes-Barre, and those guys played for him there. So he trusted them, like Sherry and Rust and Gensel. He had them for a couple of years.
That was fun,
So he trusted them when they came up. Beyond that point, he did not trust any other young player. He brought in these old veterans who were just collecting paychecks and basically just a bunch of stiffs out there that were racking up double-digit minuses, and he continued to play them game in and game out. Jeff Carter was ineffective that entire last year. He was a Penguin, but instead of putting him up in the press box and letting him get his paycheck, he put him out on the ice time and time again. That was my biggest criticism of Sullivan. Not that the players were there, the fact that he put a jersey on them and put them out there every day when they didn't deserve it.
Yeah, and his message got stale. I could think of another coach in Pittsburgh who's decent, who would win somewhere else, but they won't move off him. The Penguins moved off Sullivan, and here they are in a weird position, a position where you don't know if you want to win. I mean, in the macro, maybe you don't want to win as many games as you used to because you're not making the playoffs, and if you do, you're not winning. But night to night, they want to win. Those guys want to win. Sid obviously does. And, well, tonight with Jarry, maybe they won't, but we'll see.
I wonder, I knew, and everybody should have known, it wasn't going to be, all right, Shilov's had a shutout, he's going to play every game this year. Everybody knew coming in this was going to be a platoon, at least at the beginning. And I think Muse is smart enough that if he sees that maybe Shilov's is much hotter than Jarry, you're going to see that diminish, and you're going to see him out there more often.
As a non-hockey expert, is Bloomquist still in the rotation?
He's injured.
He's injured, but he's
injured.
He's still young and good, right?
He's going to be the backup probably for the future of the Penguins. Murashov is the guy.
Yeah.
He's going to start in Wilkes, and honestly, I would not be shocked if the Penguins are contending toward the end of the season. I would not be shocked if Murashov doesn't come up early and be thrust in there as the starting goaltender, because he is their best chance to win, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, and they could sneak in, and we'll see matchup-wise if they could win a series. That would be something. But, Yeah, it's so early in the year, and you got a couple points in New York, and, here you are at home tonight. We'll see what happens. It's an interesting season because they don't have Stanley Cup aspirations, though I hear from a lot of hockey experts the East is very weak this year.
It is
maybe
weak.
They could just get in by default. Florida going for a three-peat, but they're going to be exhausted.
That's going to be tough. Carolina could roll through the East. I think when you start looking at
Rod
teams,
the
you look
bod.
at depth.
Rod the bod.
He could roll through the. I mean, that is how down I think the Eastern Conference is at this point. And the Penguins, they have to figure some things out here the first couple weeks. Honestly, Tristan Brose being sent down to the minors, I thought was an absolute travesty. He deserved to make that team. Owen Pickering deserves to be on this team, and I think they will be. I think they had the options to go down there. Maybe others would have to be waived. I think Muse is going to give maybe a week or two to see whether or not releasing some of these guys is deserved. Whether or not he's afraid they won't clear waivers, I'm not sure. I think within a couple of weeks, they'll have it a little more sorted out. Rust will be back at that point. I think Brose will be up as well. I think Pickering will be back up. I think they need to look at guys like Connor Clifton, Tommy Novak. They need to look and see whether or not they deserve to be on this team. And I would have said last week, Justin Brazeau doesn't deserve to be on this team. And there he is scoring 2 goals on opening night. So, I mean, you've got to at least give them a look. I understand it a little better now why this is happening, and I have a little bit more trust in Muse to put the best possible players out there than I ever did in Sullivan doing that, well, at least for the last 4 or 5 years, trusting Sullivan to put the best. He was just going to put the oldest and most experienced out there and hope. This guy, I think, he's coaching, he's teaching. Everybody knows what their role is. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. I trust that even if they don't win a bunch of games, they're going to be a much more educated hockey team. They're going to be built for the future. And I think next year, potentially, depending on what happens, you could see them turn a corner. I don't think they're going to do it this year. Everybody's super excited. They're 1-0. They're in first place all by themselves in the Metro. But
who's more ridiculous right now, the 1-0 Penguin fans or the 3-1 Steeler fans? Both are a little absurd. Definitely the 1-0. I mean, come on. But no, they're happy to win, and hopefully they win tonight.
And I don't think the Rangers are that good. There's some star power there at the top, but not much of it anymore. Shesterkin is great, maybe the best goalie in hockey right now, but he gave up 1 goal, and then the Penguins scored 2 empty netters because nobody on the Rangers could beat Artur Shilovs. So, I mean, think about it. And we'll see. The jury's still out. We'll see what we've got here. I think it's an improvement over Nedeljkovic, and I would not be shocked if Jari struggles, that they put him on waivers and they send him back to the minors and he's backing up Murashov down there. I would not be shocked if that's not the case. Yeah. And that could happen as soon as Bloomquist is healthy and they keep him up to back up Shilovs up at the NHL level. So, still a lot. I mean, Kevin Hayes is still hurt. Yeah. He's going to be on the roster somewhere when he comes back. He'll be sucking up a spot that should go to somebody legit. So, in the end, it's not perfect.
No.
But it's
a
whole lot.
I could tell.
It's a whole lot better to sit here and talk about a win on opening night than it would have been talking about a loss against the system that they were forced to play for the last several years when they weren't able to play it to the coach that was there that basically just imploded this team over the last 2 years. Once again, I give all the credit in the world to what he did at the beginning of his run, but he has just let it degrade over the last probably 5 years since COVID, and they lost to the lowest seeded playoff team ever when Montreal snuck in there and embarrassed them. That was the end of whatever, but yet he was still allowed to hang on for 4 more years.
Well, Dave, you hate to see a great coach ruin his legacy down the stretch, but enough about North Carolina football.
Oh.
Good night, everyone.
It's so funny because not only is he being called the worst coach maybe in the history of the NCAA, which I think is not fair.
Oh, I don't know.
It is bad, and North Carolina apparently saying they have confidence in him and they're sticking with him. But yes, the Bill Belichick experiment in North Carolina not exactly working out. Penn State struggling as well, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I believe we're going back out to the Uniontown Mall to TJ and Arnie.
You're live, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. And we are here at the Hometown Heroes Community Day, the 4th annual car cruise. And we have a couple guests here. Amanda DeGespie with Amedisys is here with us. Amanda,
hello.
Again, thanks for having us. How are things going so far?
Very good. We are so pleased to have WMBS here with us. today. We have been blessed with the most beautiful weather and a wonderful crowd. I have Anna. Oh my God, I'm looking right now. I do it every time. I have Alyssa, our wonderful social worker, and she is a gem. So tell them a little bit about what's going on.
Alrighty, so tonight we have our Hometown Heroes. Oh, sorry about
There
that.
you go.
Hello, everybody. So tonight we have our Hometown Heroes event. It's the community car cruise. It's here at the Uniontown Mall. It's an old Sears location. It's a beautiful fall evening. There's no rain in sight, clear weather. Everyone's having a blast. There's all kinds of raffles going on. We have food trucks and music. Giveaways, classic cars, and just it's a wonderful way to give back to our community. So come on down.
We are and anybody listening that's our hometown hero and maybe you're not able to make it, we just want to thank you for your service. We have a lot of servicemen here. We have, our local AMVETs. We have Fayette EMS and some firemen. So everyone is welcome, and it's just a fun family event.
It is a free event, Amanda.
It's a free event. There's no charge. If you have a classic car and you want to get it out one last time, bring it down.
And we'll be here till 7 o'clock. And again, you have there's a lot of great cars. A very nice crowd here tonight as well.
Absolutely. The parking lot is full. And I have to say, every year we get bigger and better. Just like Amedisys Hospice.
It does. Okay, well, ladies, thank you for coming on. Thanks for having us out here. And it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And I just want to say one last thing.
Oh,
so
go ahead.
a lot of Alyssa and I get on the air and we talk about the quality things that we do in our community, and this is just a little example of what we do. So,
and before you go, why don't you tell us a little bit about Amedisys? Where you're located, what you guys do, and your information.
Absolutely. So Amedisys Hospice is located here in Uniontown at 649 Cherry Tree Lane, and you can't miss the big green sign. We're right across from Pish Associates, and what we do is we help bring quality back to life, quality and comfort when someone is at a stage in their journey when they need that extra support, nursing, aid visits, chaplain, social work. It's a whole team of people that are dedicated, and this is a big part of it. It's just community. We actually have a couple of family members that just needed a little break, needed to get out, that are here, that came and just hugged our caregivers. We have, WVU hospitals here as well. So, a lot of our partners are here just supporting our event, and we're just so thankful.
And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, Amanda, how do they go about doing that?
Sure, you can call 724-439-4440, or you can call me directly, Amanda DeGespie, at 724-208-9783.
All right, Amanda, Alyssa, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, TJ. We're so happy to have you here.
Awesome. We're glad to be here as well. And again, this is the Hometown Heroes Community Day 4th Annual Car Cruise at the Uniontown Mall, and we're here till 7 o'clock tonight on your local station, WMBS. We'll be checking with you in the 6 o'clock hour a few times right after the 6 o'clock news. So for now, we'll head back to the Sports Voice here on WMBS.
Hi, this is Dave Dunaway, and I'm here to remind you that Franco's Golf Center is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Stop by and see Franco's facility on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Franco's service area includes a lighted driving range and golf pro shop. Even my game has improved, thanks to golf lessons with Franco's PGA instructors. Franco's also offers full custom club fitting and repairs by certified club fitter Greg Franco. Franco's is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give Franco's a call at 724-438-6655.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
And that's what frustrates me about Penn State. You mean we weren't on that whole time? Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if I have time to go ahead and rehash that again.
Let me guess, James Franklin's one of your issues?
Oh, James Franklin is the issue with Penn State football.
Yeah.
Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, you can pick apart any other player out there. I'm telling you, You go back through the record, the only constant is him.
Yeah.
You're going to go back and blame Trace McSorley. Like, go through all the people that were there. Yeah, Hackenberg, Clifford.
There's been some bad ones, but yeah.
There have been, but there have been guys like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders was a stud there. Jahan Dotson was a great like, they're stars, and none of those teams won anything important. At some time, at some point, you have to look at the coach, and you have to look at the philosophy, and you have to know the things that you know really are going on. Like, he takes over the play calling in what he considers to be a big game. It gets super conservative. They won once out of 16 times against a top 5 team, 4 times out of 25 against a top 10 team. That's not good. Like, I don't expect you, if you're playing 16 times a team in the top 5, I don't expect you to win 14 times, but I might expect you to win 2, 3. You got to do, the percentage is just non-existent here. You're not going to win a national championship. I guess in the end, it all is based on what you want out of Penn State. If you're looking for a national championship, he's not your guy. If you're looking for someone who can at least split with Ohio State and Michigan, he's not your guy. Like, it's just not going to happen. You want 10-2 maybe and sneak into the playoff and lose in the first round if you play a legit team, or maybe beat a Boise or an SMU. That's your guy. That's what you could do. You can beat teams that don't belong, but those days are going to be gone, because now they're trying to handpick who makes it into this playoff. So they'll be all legit teams, and someone who is going to disappoint you whenever they play someone that's a legitimate contender, like in Oregon, and maybe every once in a while get embarrassed by a team like UCLA, who, by the way, came into the game with 0 wins. I'm watching him carry around Rick Neuheisel's kid after the game. This is his first time ever calling plays in college football. I don't know what he did before. He was probably the water boy, and they ended up firing Deshaun Foster, who was the coach, promoting people, and by the time it's done, they give him a position which isn't even offensive coordinator. It's play caller. Now he's the offensive coordinator because he beat Penn State. I mean, it was just everything they said, everything they showed had to be the ultimate embarrassment to a team that was projected to be number 2 at the beginning of the year, played 3 nobodies to start the year, didn't cover the spread against the first 2. Go and lose and get, I thought, embarrassed by Oregon. They came back because the offensive coordinator started calling plays when they were down 14 to get them back in the game, lose in overtime, and then just, I don't even know how to explain what that UCLA thing was. It was devastating. It was embarrassing. And honestly, if I was the AD at Penn State, there would be a new coach out there coaching this week, or all of the sheets with the plays and everything would be nowhere to be found. He could sit there with the headset that's not connected to anything and pretend like he's coaching for all I care, and play cheerleader and go out and recruit 5 days a week and show up on Saturday for the game, which is, by the way, what happens there. I'd rather see that than allowing him to have any input in play calling, especially in a game that matters, like a game against Oregon, which they were in. They were never in the UCLA game. They were at least in the Oregon game. And honestly, if someone who knew what they were doing, not named James Franklin, was calling plays in that game, I think you would have seen a different outlook. Aller hasn't looked. How do you know what Aller can do? We were talking about it off the air. Like, people are saying, well, Aller will be better if he goes to the NFL. And you can laugh about that all you want, because looking at what you see, how do you know he won't be? He's big. He's got arm strength. They don't use him correctly. I mean, if he goes to Pittsburgh, he'll be probably identical. But if he goes to a team, look at what Kyle Shanahan has done with Mac Jones. Look at what Kevin O'Connell last year was able to do with Sam Darnold. Like, start looking at guys that were left for dead, that with a legit, innovative offensive mind have turned their careers around. You could see something similar out of Drew Aller. He definitely fits the prototype of what today's NFL quarterback should look like. I'm curious to see what Kevin Stefanski can do with Dylan Gabriel. Like, you get to a system that actually is going to design itself around the quarterback, the sky might be the limit for what you're able to see in that situation. So I don't know. I'm not writing him off yet. I'm going to attribute it all to just terrible play calling that we've seen for over a decade with the same head coach, a bunch of different offensive coordinators, a bunch of different defensive coordinators, a bunch of different players that were thrown into the mix. Franklin is the constant. He is what has been there for all of that time. So until I see something different, I will attribute all of the woes that they're experiencing this year to him. When we look at the NFL and we get ready to make our picks of the week, there are some storylines that follow in with some things that happened last week. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally neglecting Major League Baseball and what they've done. Their playoffs have been outstanding. We're seeing a good mix of small market and large market teams. I'm going to put them on the back burner, though, to make sure I get enough credit, enough time out there to the National Football League. So we'll talk a little more baseball. When we have the AL and NLDS out there, we'll get to more of that. But you saw the Yankees get upset. The Cubs are maybe on the verge as well. The Dodgers trying to take out the Phillies. So there's a lot. The Tigers fighting back in a series as well. The Blue Jays, a small market team, looking like the odds-on favorite to win the World Series. So I don't want to discredit Major League Baseball, but I know most of you out there root for the team closest to your house, and they haven't been relevant since 1979. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They were somewhat relevant in 2015. They were relevant in the early 90s, but really not a whole lot to get excited about when you talk local baseball. But I hope you're watching the playoffs. There is a lot of excitement going on.
Love it.
I've not watched as much as I should have. I'm so ingrained in football and hockey right now. But when it gets a little closer, I am trying to watch the Dodgers as much as I can. When it gets a little closer, I'll pay much more attention. When we look at last week, starting on Thursday, the surprises, they come out really early. The San Francisco 49ers behind, of all people, Mac Jones, who, by the way, I had to endure in New England for 3 years. I thought he was the worst quarterback I'd ever seen. And all of a sudden, Kyle Shanahan turns him into a legit passer with, by the way, no receivers. Pearsall was out. Jennings was out. He's throwing to Tongas, the backup tight end.
It's a mash unit out there.
Christian McCaffrey's still there, but he's the running back, but he's one of the leading receivers. Kendrick Bourne. At least he knew Bourne, because Bourne was just as bad as he was in New England for the amount of time that he was there. And they knock off the Rams. And a lot of people talk, and the Rams were 3-1. You got Puka, you got Tutu, you got Adams, you got Stafford, you got Kyron Williams, who I still think is the best running back in football.
Wow.
Love him.
Yeah,
Love
I guess he could be.
Jonathan Taylor's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
Henry and Barkley are down
Henry
this year. Yeah, they're down. So McCaffrey, wow. Anyways, the 49ers kick off the week with a pretty big upset, and they just keep coming as the week goes on, and that's what makes it so tough to pick the NFL. Of course, the biggest was Sunday Night Football, which, by the way, I was exhausted. I watched the whole game. New England 23-20. They tried to give it to Buffalo, but Buffalo gave it right back. They both were turning it over. Drake May is, I'm telling you, the real deal. I know there were no touchdown passes. Stephon Diggs emerged finally as a legit threat out there at wide receiver. And, of course, against his old team, Allen was humanized in that game, I think, more so than anything. But New England, they called a great game plan. The defense, which is sketchy at best, held them in 23-20. Victorious over the Bills. Then you start thinking, boy, if they'd have beat the Steelers like they should have, they'd be 4-1 right now. And the Raiders, who came back and beat them because of turnovers in week one. They put the ball, Stevenson had the ball on the ground there too. So, yeah, the turnovers have killed them this year. But in the end, they're 3-2 and knocking on the door of the 4-1 Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, the division looks enticing now. Not the Jets or the Dolphins, but the New England and Buffalo. That should be fun down the stretch.
Minnesota beats Cleveland in London 21-17. Once again, Gabriel at the helm. They hang in there. They knock Wentz out. I would expect to see McCarthy sooner rather than later for this Minnesota team. The Colts improved to 4-1, 40-6. Absolutely just trounced the Raiders. Geno Smith, I wonder how much longer he's going to be at the helm. How cool would it be to see Kenny Pickett out there, especially if there's some modicum of success with Genty and Myers. I mean, there are weapons, Bowers on that team, but the Colts are head and shoulders right now above a lot of what you see in the AFC, especially in that South division. Houston played better this week, but Daniel Jones, wow, it's just unbelievable. And Jonathan Taylor, too, 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Colts are maybe a legit threat. The Saints get their first win. They beat the turnover-riddled Giants. Giants lose a couple more players in that one. Scatterbo looks good, but that's about it. Spencer Rattler, there's a guy, efficient. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he threw for 225, a touchdown. He's efficient. Dallas beats the Jets 37-22. The Jets, the only winless team in the NFL. But, of course, the game will be more known for Jerry Jones throwing up the middle finger at Jets fans and then trying to say he was put the wrong finger up. He was trying to throw the thumbs up to the Cowboy fans who were sitting right in front of him. The greatest part of all is I'm sure there was a back and forth the entire game. The Jumbotron puts his box on right as he's doing it, which is the best. So he couldn't even act like he didn't do it because it was on the Jumbotron. Makes the excuse that he put the wrong finger up, ends up getting fined $250,000. That's the story of the week. I thought that was the funniest thing. And as much as everybody makes fun of him and you can criticize whatever, I think the Steelers would be in much better shape if he was the owner because at least he looks like he cares. Jerry Jones isn't going to sit there and say, hey, we're above the mean. We're just going to stay status quo. Does he make bad decisions? Yeah. He brought Pickens in. Pickens right now with Lamb out has been their top receiving threat. The Jets are just bad. And remember, when you look at all the L's rack up while that zero stays the same, they should have beat Pittsburgh week 1.
Well, if they were good, they would have, Dave.
I guess. The Denver Broncos come back and beat the Eagles. That might have been game of the week there.
Yeah.
18 points they scored in the fourth quarter. The Eagles, I'm not sure. They're not running. Barkley's doing nothing. Hurts didn't even run. The passes have been off.
Yeah.
It just, something is off there.
They're good, but off. Yeah.
Agreed. Carolina gets their second win of the year, taking the Dolphins down to 1-4, which is why all the Waddle trade speculation is happening. How about Rico Dowdle, 205 yards and a touchdown on the ground for Carolina in place of the injured Chuba Hubbard. They play Dallas this week, and Dowdle wants to play. He was a Cowboy for the last 5 years.
Yep.
That could be interesting. 44-10, Houston over Baltimore. Baltimore's got pretty much their whole defense hurt. Stroud, 4 touchdowns through the air. Nick Chubb, 1 on the ground. Tennessee, the Arizona Cardinals, by the way, how to lose a game. They could write the documentary for that, for what they did against Tennessee.
What is happening with these guys all over the league? Cross the goal line, then drop the ball.
Yes, and then got screamed at by Gannon, and Gannon ends up getting fined, a bunch of money for basically roughing up Emil DeMarcado after the fumble.
Whatever.
Arizona had this game at hand, 16 unanswered in the fourth quarter for Tennessee, of all teams. Cam Ward actually looked like he might be a legit Rookie of the Year threat after that game. Nick mentioned it earlier. Baker Mayfield looks like the MVP of the league right now. 38-35 over Seattle, 379, 2 touchdowns. He has been head and shoulders above everyone else.
He's been great. Him and Dak have been great. Darnold's been good. Yeah, that was a fun game, that Bucs-Seahawks game.
Fun game where you've seen, Jackson hurt, Burrow hurt, Allen kind of shaky, Mahomes kind of shaky. Mayfield has stepped up. The Lions, 37-24 winners over the Bengals. Goff had 3 touchdowns through the air. Most of what the Bengals did was after the game was out of hand, 21 in the fourth quarter. Don't give Jake Browning any credit for that one.
No.
It was backups in for Detroit at that point.
Boy, can the Lions run the ball. They're fun.
The Commanders take care of the Chargers 27-10. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw the Chargers losing, let alone getting embarrassed. They actually switched coverage to that game from Detroit because they wanted a more competitive game. And as soon as they switched, it became anything but competitive. Omarion Hampton now onto IR for the Chargers. It's going to be either Haskins or Vidal in there for them now for the foreseeable future because we know Najee's out. And Jacksonville, we mentioned it earlier, the huge upset also sort of coming from behind to take down the Chiefs after a really bad Patrick Mahomes interception that turned into a pick 6 from the 1-yard line.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff, and that Jags-Chiefs game was fun. Looking forward to Week 6, Dave.
Well, here we go. Let's make our picks of the week. We've already picked the Steelers. Nick and I both took the Steelers. I won't spoil the picks of everybody else. You can see them on Facebook tomorrow. Nick and I are going to pick live, really, because we're the only two here. Starting with tonight, Eagles at Giants. Eagles favored by 7.5.
Eagles look off, but they're good. Better than the Giants. Eagles big, Dave.
At least the Eagles have healthy players. The Giants don't have many left. I'm going with the Eagles in that one as well. Yeah. Going to Sunday, early morning in London. We're still playing in London. I thought that was Jacksonville's home away from home. They haven't been there yet. This is Denver versus the Jets. You're trying to sell football to London. You've given them Jacksonville for years, who's been terrible. Now you're giving them the Jets as the home team. The Denver Broncos favored by 6.5.
Aaron Glenn, worse than Kotite. Denver big.
Oh, I say it too. The Jets 0-6 after this one. Denver, I don't care what the spread would have been. I would have taken Denver. Rams at Ravens. Rams favored on the road by 7.5.
Yeah, without Lamar, and that defense is just gutted. Rams, I like them a lot.
I can't forget I had the Ravens as my Super Bowl team. Of course, as before I knew all these guys were going to get hurt. I got to take them somewhere. The Rams struggle to cover the spread.
Yeah.
I don't think the Ravens are going to win, but I don't think they're going to lose by 7.5. I think they're going to surprise everybody and make it competitive. I'm taking the Ravens. Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys favored by 3.5.
Dak, the MVP, if not for Baker. Dallas big.
I got Dallas in that one as well. Ooh, we're picking a lot of the same. Well, the Ravens was different. Cardinals at Colts. Colts favored by 7.5.
Yeah, Arizona finds ways to lose. I wanted to go with them, but give me the Colts. It might be their year.
Well, I think Arizona will find a way to lose in this game, but I don't think it'll be by 7.5.
No.
And I'm high on the Colts. I need to see more before I start taking them with big spreads.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Cardinals. Seattle at Jacksonville. Seattle favored by 1.5.
Long flight for Seattle, but could be a letdown for the Jags after that win over the Chiefs. Give me Seattle.
It was a long flight when they played Pittsburgh, and they had no problem there.
That's true.
I'm going to take Seattle in this one. I am not sold on Jacksonville. I like Hunter. I like Thomas.
Oh, what a catch he made. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But Seattle's further ahead, I think, right now. Chargers at Dolphins. Chargers favored by 3.5.
Oh, Miami's
Could you
awful.
imagine only being favored? How bad is Los Angeles if they're only favored by 3.5 in this?
Yeah, O-line injuries. Hampton's out. Harris out, who's their running back, but the Chargers, Miami's dreadful.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. They still have Herbert, and they still have a decent depth at receiver.
And Harbaugh can outcoach the IT guy.
I would hope so, yes. Might be looking at Best Buy after this. I can't believe he's still there.
Yeah, I don't get it.
49ers at Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 2.5. Two potential MVP candidates in Baker Mayfield and Mac Jones.
This should be fun. Tampa, I think they're a Super Bowl team for real. Tampa wins by the spread.
I was going to go with the 49ers. I think Pearsall's back. I think guys are going to be back. I'm going with Tampa. It's probably going to be close, but they put up a ton of points. I'm going with the Bucs. Yeah. And that's without Mike Evans.
Is Bucky Irving banged up?
He is. I don't know if he'll play or not. It doesn't matter. They got Baker.
Yeah.
Titans at Raiders. Raiders favored by 3.5.
I will not watch any of this game. Give me the Titans just for fun. Cam Ward is fun to watch, I guess, because he's young, but they're awful teams, these two.
I'm going for the Raiders. I'm going to ride Genty because he's on both of my fantasy teams. Bengals at Packers. Packers by 14.5.
Yeah, and I think Gino's done. Big number. Flacco. I think Flacco keeps him around. I think Green Bay only wins by 14. Give me Cincinnati.
Oh, Nick's wacko for Flacco. I'm taking Cincinnati too. 14.5 is that's
enormous.
It's like 80 in college.
Yeah.
Like it's a ton. I'm going with the Bengals. Patriots at Saints. New England favored by 3.5.
New England by a touchdown or more.
New England. I like what the Saints have done. I like what the Patriots have done more. I'm going with New England. Sunday Night Football. Chiefs at home hosting the Lions. Chiefs favored by 2.5.
This is a fun game, Dave. The Chiefs, though, I think will be 2-4. Lions by a field goal or more.
We talk about trap games all the time. We talk about opponents. There are trap games when you pick. This is a trap game. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Monday Night Football. 2 games. Bills at Falcons. Bills favored by 4.5.
Oh, Bills.
Oh, I can't believe it's 4.5.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Have they watched Michael Penix?
That's because it's in Atlanta. I don't get it.
Bears at Commanders. Washington favored by 4.5.
Give me the Bears. What the heck?
I'm taking the Bears.
Yeah.
One of my new favorite players in the NFL, Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chicago Bears in that one.
Let's
so
go.
You've got my picks. You've got Nick's picks. Everyone else's will be revealed tomorrow. Make sure you're tuning in to the WMBS Facebook/TV page, and you'll be able to see who everyone else is picking. As for our show, I appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. We've got more check-ins coming during the 6 o'clock hour from the mall, so make sure you stick around here for that. We got Penguins on tonight. Yeah. Penguins, Islanders, the home opener for the Pens. Root for the Penguins. Root for Steelers, Browns, whoever you want to root for over the weekend. That's all the time we have for this week. Please tune in next Thursday, 4:15 to 6.
Wow, your dog looks beautiful. We went to Mutt's on Market Street, the new dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
With warm weather, now's the